Receipt fired on Friday. Landlord on Monday. It was a Friday morning like any other, the kind that hums with predictable routine. Alex Carter adjusted his tie in the reflection of the office tower's glass door. He was a man of quiet diligence, a mid-level project manager who believed in systems, in loyalty, in the promise that hard work would always speak for itself. For 10 years, he'd given his days, and many of his nights, to Dymatech Systems, a corporate firm that built nothing tangible but thrived on proposals, projects, and presentations. It wasn't glamorous work, but it gave Alex purpose. That is, until Greg Whitman arrived. Greg, the newly appointed CEO, was the kind of man who liked hearing his own footsteps echo in the boardroom. He was tall, polished, and perpetually armed with the kind of fake smile you only find in sales conferences. His management philosophy was simple: lead by fear, not respect. Under Greg, the culture changed fast. The open laughter of the team disappeared, replaced by whispers. Coffee breaks grew shorter, smiles tighter. And then came the meetings, those brutal sessions where Greg would publicly coach his managers. It was never really coaching. It was slow humiliation disguised as leadership. Alex had the misfortune of becoming his favorite target. "Alex," Greg would say, pacing behind him like a wolf circling its prey, "if you can't adapt, you're part of the problem, not the solution." The room would fall silent. Every pair of eyes avoided Alex's. And yet, among the silence, there was always one person who dared to meet his gaze: Sarah Miles. Sarah was a marketing manager, bold, sharp, and unafraid of confrontation. While everyone else played safe, Sarah had a backbone. She'd often defend Alex subtly in meetings, diverting Greg's attacks or adding a calm counterpoint to his criticism. She admired Alex's ethics, and he quietly admired her courage. But Greg saw it too, and he didn't like it. The Friday, the day it all came crashing down, was, fittingly, a Friday. The air in the office was strangely still, like the calm before a storm. At noon, Sarah walked over to Alex's desk, her expression uneasy. "He's calling a board meeting at 3, she whispered. "You're on the agenda, and not for good reasons." Alex tried to smile. "Then I'll just do what I always do, stay professional." But professionalism, as he was about to learn, wasn't armor enough. At exactly 3:47 p.m., Greg's assistant Laura called Alex into the glass-walled conference room. Inside sat Greg, flanked by 2 board members who wouldn't meet Alex's eyes. On the table, a single manila folder. "Alex," Greg began with rehearsed sympathy, "this isn't personal. The company's moving in a new direction. Your role has been made redundant." Alex's voice stayed steady. "Redundant? I've led every major project since 2013. Greg smiled that thin, surgical smile of his. "And we thank you for that. But we're evolving." Security was already waiting in the hall. By 4:10 p.m., Alex was standing outside the building, cardboard box in hand. Inside were his framed certificates, a family photo, and the last shred of his dignity. From behind the tinted glass above, Greg watched him leave. The fall. Days blurred into one another. The quiet of unemployment was louder than any office noise. Alex spent his mornings staring at the ceiling, afternoons pacing around his apartment. Nights stretched into dark loops of what if, and how did it go wrong. Sarah called often, checking in, gently, not out of pity, but loyalty. Still, he pushed people away. Until one evening, fate intervened in the form of an unexpected message from Rebecca Hales, an old college friend, who turned real estate consultant. "Heard you're free these days," she teased. "How about coffee? I might have an idea."
You people are enjoying my videos but not subscribing. Subscribe. It is free.
"I might have an idea." They met at a quiet cafe downtown. Rebecca was everything Alex wasn't at that moment: confident, composed, thriving. She'd built her own small property consultancy from scratch. "You've spent your whole career managing corporate properties," she said, stirring her coffee. "Leases, facilities, budgets, you know it all. Why not do it for yourself?" Alex laughed, half bitter. "Because I'm broke, and tired, and scared, if I'm being honest." Rebecca leaned forward. "Good. Fear means you still care. You don't need to start big. Start smart. That night, Alex went home and couldn't sleep. Her words kept echoing. Start smart. The rebuild. It began with desperation and a plan written on the back of an envelope. Alex sold his car, liquidated his savings, and poured everything into registering a small consultancy. He called it Urban Nest Properties. He reached out to Sarah, who had since resigned from Dymatech, fed up with Greg's toxicity. "You're really doing this?" she asked when he told her. "Yeah," he said, "but I can't do it alone." She didn't hesitate. "Then I'm in." Soon, 2 more people joined: Daniel Ortiz, a practical-minded investor who believed in second chances, and Emily Clark, a young marketing professional with the energy of a startup founder. The team of 4 began working out of a cramped co-working space, fueled by instant noodles, caffeine, and stubborn hope. Their first client was a retired couple who wanted help selling a small warehouse property. Then another came, and another. It wasn't much, but it was theirs. The rise. Months passed like chapters in a manual of survival. Urban Nest began to grow. Their reputation for honesty and transparency spread fast in an industry drowning in manipulation. By month 11, Daniel came in with news that froze Alex mid-sentence. "We got it," Daniel said, grinning. "The downtown commercial complex. The deal's closed." Alex's heart skipped when he saw the address. It was Dymatech headquarters, the very same building where Greg had fired him 11 months ago. The revenge. Monday morning, Alex walked into that familiar lobby, but this time, the receptionist stood to greet him. Sarah was beside him, clipboard in hand. When the elevator doors opened, Greg was stepping out. For a brief second, their eyes met. Greg froze, color draining from his face. "Alex, what are you doing here?" Alex smiled, calm, deliberate. "Just inspecting my new property." Greg blinked. "Property? Yeah, I'm your new landlord." The silence that followed was heavy and beautiful. 3 months later, when Dymatech failed to renew their lease on time, Alex personally signed the eviction notice and hand-delivered it to Greg's office. Greg tried everything: negotiation, guilt, threats. But Alex didn't flinch. "You once told me I didn't fit the company culture," Alex said softly. "Turns out you were right. I built my own." The reflection. On a quiet evening a week later, Alex and Sarah stood on the rooftop of the very same building, now theirs. The city shimmered below, 1,000 stories unfolding in light. Was it worth it? Sarah asked. Alex smiled. Every minute. They watched the skyline fade into dusk. "You know," she said, sipping her coffee, "Greg took your job, but he gave you your freedom." Alex chuckled. "Yeah, sometimes life fires you to promote you." They clinked their mugs. "To new beginnings," she said. "To Friday," he replied. "Fired on Friday. Landlord on Monday." Alex Carter's story isn't just about revenge. It's about rediscovering value beyond validation. It's about understanding that sometimes life's harshest endings are just disguised openings. Because when the world tells you you're not a fit, maybe it's time to build a place where you finally belong.
You people are enjoying my videos but not subscribing. Subscribe. It is free.